How to create effective tokenomics. This thing won't let your project thrive if you forget about it. What could we be talking about? Find out from this video. Any Web3 project that aims to have market prospects must develop an effective tokenomics, regardless of the type of asset it possesses. This will establish its position in the market and earn the trust of potential users and VCs. A product may have a great idea and use cases, but if its tokenomics is poor, it won't sustain itself in the market in the long term. For example, the well-known Dogecoin is not as good as it may seem at first glance. Yes, your favorite and very popular meme coin actually has less than optimal tokenomics. Unlike Bitcoin, Dogecoin, despite being a fork, has an unlimited supply. The network minutes 5.26 billion tokens each year to reward validators. This gradually diminishes the value of the Doge as the number of coins increases while the token's functionality remains extremely limited. But what distinguishes good tokenomics from bad? Token utility, a unique proposition for users. Get ready to take notes as every detail matters here. As a rule, a project with good tokenomics exhibits several characteristics. A good vesting schedule. This serves to prevent a token dump after the ICO, providing advantages to both project owners and investors. Inflationary supply. An example of a token with an inflationary supply is Bitcoin. The number of BTS is limited to 21 million, and when all tokens are mined, Bitcoin mining will cease. An inflationary supply allows users to spend more and develop the project's tokenomics. A verified token contract. Having a verified token contract makes your token more trustworthy. Tokens without verified contracts have a high chance of being scam tokens. By verifying a contract, it becomes open source, allowing anyone to view the contract code. Limited supply. A project is considered valuable if its token supply is relatively small, as this helps avoid inflation and the eventual devaluation of the token. More token allocation to the public. A token becomes more decentralized and valuable for the project and investors if the public receives a larger allocation. Users tend to avoid projects where founders and investors hold a significant portion of tokens from private sales. This is the ideal formula to avoid market manipulation and centralization. Utility. The more useful the token is for your project and users, the higher its chances of long-term survival in the market. Meme coins come and go because they exist solely due to their popularity, but ask yourself, why are BTS, ETH or BNB highly valued? And you will understand that tokens with practical properties have stable development. However, to build a good tokenomics, it's not enough to know the science of its effective organization. Developers should follow a specific algorithm to prepare for the launch of their digital assets, and each step of this algorithm should be thoroughly examined. Step 1. Explore token mechanics. Determine why you need to create a token and what the mechanisms of its use, distribution, and creation will be. When looking at blockchains for your token, it is important to consider factors such as consensus algorithms, transaction speeds, and environmental footprint. When creating your crypto tokenomics, take these aspects into account. Step 2. Determine the type of token for your project. There are several different types of tokens depending on their purposes in the project. Sometimes the same project launches multiple tokens for different purposes. Nevertheless, the main types are as follows. Utility tokens. These tokens are created for specific projects and are used in exchange for various benefits within the platform. Utility tokens do not represent ownership or investment in a crypto project and are not considered securities. An example of such a token is BAT, Basic Attention Token, from the Brave browser, which developers use to reward users for viewing ads in the browser. The token circulates within the ecosystem and allows users to earn through interaction with it. Security token. Security tokens act as digitally issued financial securities and are regulated by the government. They are created on a blockchain and represent a stake in an asset or enterprise. The turnover of such tokens is regulated by the government, with the SEC overseeing it in the United States. You may recall the years-long legal battles between the SEC and the Ripple project over the nature of XRP token, which could not be determined as either a security or utility token for a long time. Unlike utility tokens, investors in security tokens will have a claim to a certain share of the project's success based on their investments. Such tokens are often considered a more reliable investment, but are less common in the crypto market. Examples of security tokens in crypto include Polymath, T0, Harbor, and Securities. Governance tokens. This type of token gives users the right to participate in governance within the community. They are most often used in DAOs. For example, the well-known Layer 0 platform Stargate has its own token STG, which allows users to make decisions about further changes in the project. Typically, the voting power of users depends on the amount of tokens they hold or have staked in the system. Transactional tokens are used for transactions and gas payments within a specific blockchain network. Bright examples of such tokens include ACH, XLM, and LTC. Commodity tokens. Commodity tokens are digital assets that represent a physical commodity or assets such as gold or fiat. The token price of a commodity token is usually pegged to the value of the underlying asset. NFTs. Last but not least on the list of token types, many are accustomed to associating them with digital works of art, but such tokens can be integrated into various spheres of the Web3 industry. A non-fungible token exists as a unique and non-replicable digital object, a certificate of authenticity that confirms ownership of a special item. Now that you have determined the type of token for your project, you can move on to the next stage of tokenomics development. Step 3. Establish the total token supply. At this stage, you need to determine the total number of tokens that will be created for the project, as well as any future plans to create more tokens. You should define the rules for maintaining token demand and supply, such as mechanisms for burning tokens to combat inflation and so on. Step 4. Define your token distribution plan. Tokens will be allocated in various ways for different project needs, for your users, for ecosystem operations, for the team, and more. This should be taken into account. It's also important to plan an event where you will distribute tokens to users, and there are several strategies. ICO, ITO, IDO. Events where the project sells a certain number of tokens or tokenized assets or launches the token on decentralized exchange. Mining. Some tokens can be mined by providing computational power. This is one of the most well-known ways to obtain Bitcoin. Staking. Often government tokens are used this way. Users purchase tokens and lock them in a pool, then receive voting power in a DAO. Airdrops. A popular token distribution strategy among project users. Typically, users perform various tasks and activities for which project rewards them with tokens. The blockchain Arbitrum, for example, gained significant attention by organizing a grant retro drop for all users who were active on the network and performed various tasks. Step 5. Build your token mechanics. These steps involves developing the rules and incentives that will govern the use of the tokens within the ecosystem, such as how they will be used for transactions, how they will be bought and sold, and what role they will play in the overall functioning of your crypto project. Step 6. Implement the tokenomics model. This process includes the development of a smart contract that will regulate the issuance, distribution, and circulation of tokens on the network. What to pay attention to when developing your smart contract is something we have discussed in our other videos, and you should familiarize yourself with them because it's one of the most important parts of your work on the project. The final document with the project's tokenomics should include token utility, total supply, token price, stabilization, governance model, tokenomics, token distribution model, token standards, transaction fees, and transfer speed. Now you know that a good project won't survive without good tokenomics. By following the guide, you will be able to create your project's own tokenomics and prepare for entering the big market and presenting it to investors. Look for more useful tips for developers in our videos.